Hello friends, very good morning. Let us continue today with our Indian Contract Act 1872. I think we have left the last class till rules of acceptance and acceptance, correct? Now let us continue from there. Our next topic for today is communication of offer and acceptance. Okay, we have learned what is offer, what are the valid rules for the offer, what is acceptance, what are the legal elements and essential elements for a valid acceptance, and few case laws. Okay, now we have heard that for an offer to be complete or for an acceptance to be complete, it must be communicated. Very, very important point. What? For offer to be valid, for acceptance to be valid, it must be communicated. Correct? Now, let us learn when the communication of offer is complete, when the communication of acceptance is complete. Okay? So, let us dive into today's topic, communication of offer and acceptance. Now, when we do an offer and acceptance face to face, when we are doing contracts face to face, suppose I am ready to sell the bike to you for 50,000. You are here, I am here. When we are doing the contract face to face, there is no problem. When I speak it, when it reaches your ear, it is complete. Simple, correct? So when we are doing it face to face, there is no problem of communication. The problem arises only when the contracts are made, the offer and acceptance is made via post, telegram. Then there are problems because I post the letter on some date, it reaches to you on some date, correct? Then the problem arises. So let us learn when the acceptance and offer is complete, when they are done not face to face and by other means. Okay. So first thing, communication. Let us first learn about communication of offer. Then we will see communication of acceptance. Okay. So first one, communication of offer. Now tell me, suppose A is making an offer to B to sell the house for rupees 5 lakhs. Okay. He sent this agreement or this offer to B on the date, suppose 20th February. Okay. Now, he has posted the letter on 20th Feb. Now, this letter reaches to B on, suppose, 23rd of Feb. Now tell me, when the offer is set to be complete, communication of offer is complete when? On which date? Quickly think. Is it 20th Feb or 23rd Feb? It is 23rd Feb. Very good. Because what happens when I post the letter? Is it communicated to B? No, he has no idea about the offer at all. When the letter reaches B, only then the offer is said to be communicated. Simple, got it? So offer is communication of offer is complete when the letter reaches B. Okay, but now here at twist. Suppose the letter has reached to him on 23rd Feb. He has received the letter, but he has not opened the letter till 25th February. He has not read the letter till 25th February. Now tell me, when the offer is set to have been communicated. Communication complete yavagagutte. That's the question. On 23rd Feb or 25th Feb. So when is it complete? Yeah. So it is on 25th Feb. Very good. So the offer is set to be complete on 25th Feb and not on 23rd Feb. Are you clear? So mere receiving the letter is not sufficient. It's important for the acceptor to read the letter, to have knowledge about the offer. Clear? Okay. So communication of offer when complete? So communication of offer is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the offeree or acceptor. Okay, it is very important. It should come to his knowledge. Are you clear? Okay. Now, let us go to the next topic, that is communication of acceptance. communication of acceptance. Now, listen to me very carefully. What has happened here is, now he has read the offer. B has read the offer. He likes it. Okay. He likes the proposal. Now he posts his acceptance. Okay. Now B has read the letter. He is posting his acceptance to A. Suppose on 25th he read it and he posted it back on 26th Feb. And it reached A on 29th Feb. Now tell me, when the communication of acceptance is complete, now here we have to think from two persons' point of view. From the point of view of acceptor, I'll call him acceptor and we will call him offerer, because he has given the offer, so he becomes offerer. He is accepting the offer, so he becomes acceptor. Okay. Now just to tell me, we will think as against acceptor when the offer is complete, as against offerer when is the acceptance complete. On which date? As against acceptor which date? As against offerer which date? So as against offerer, that is as against A. In our example, it is A. As against A, the acceptance is said to be complete on 26th Feb. As soon as the letter of acceptance is posted. As soon as he posts the letter, the acceptance is complete as against offerer or proposer. Okay. So that he has posted the letter and it is now out of his control. He cannot withdraw that letter back. So letter is in the course of transmission, out of the power to withdraw the same. Okay. Then the offer of communication of acceptance is said to be complete as against offerer. Clear? So these are the terms what you will tell when is the acceptance complete. Communication of acceptance is complete as against offerer when as soon as the letter is posted, so as to be out of the power to withdraw the same. Okay. Next, as against acceptor when it is complete, he has posted the letter. So against him it is complete only when it comes to the knowledge of offerer, that is on 29th February. As against B, acceptor is B. So as against acceptor it is complete only when it comes to the knowledge of A. Clear? So this is about communication of offer and acceptance when complete. Now, why is this important? Why we have to study which date is important? Because now listen to the example, why it is important. Now, suppose he has accepted the letter. Who has accepted the letter? B has accepted the offer. Correct? B has accepted the offer. As soon as he posts the letter, after posting the letter, he posted on 26th Feb. It has not reached the acceptor till 29th Feb. Now on 27th Feb, he is at home thinking, I could have got the house in 4 lakhs itself. Why I agreed for 5 lakhs? I have to cancel that. Now, can he cancel or is he bound by the contract? No, sorry. Again, I'll be repeating the example. Please listen to the example again. What happened? B has accepted the letter. He posted the letter on 26th Feb. Okay. Please listen to me carefully. Forget the first one, what I said. Listen to me again. What I said, B has posted the letter on 26th Feb. After posting, not B, but who? A is thinking that I could have got a good offer. I could have got the house not for 5 lakhs, but I could have sold the house for 10 lakhs. Now he is thinking. Who is thinking? Offerer is thinking. Offerer is thinking. What offerer is thinking now? That I could have sold the house for 10 lakhs. But when is he thinking? Suppose he is thinking on 27th of February after the letter has been posted. After the letter of acceptance is posted by B, he is now thinking, I could have sold the house for 10 lakhs. Why did I agree for 5 lakhs? Now, can he cancel the contract or he has to give the house for 5 lakhs only? That's my question. Now tell me, answer the question quickly. Now, should A give the house at 5 lakhs only because letter of acceptance is already posted? Should A give the house for 5 lakhs only, or can he withdraw his offer? That's the question. Can he withdraw? Or is he bound by the contract? Or is he bound by the contract? That's the question. Can he withdraw? No, he cannot, because letter of acceptance already posted. He is now bound by the contract. He has to give the house for 5 lakhs only. Yes, he is bound. Clear? Okay, got it. That is why it is very important to understand when the acceptance is complete. Before letter of acceptance posted, can he withdraw the offer? Before he posted, before B posts his letter of acceptance, can A withdraw the offer? Yes, he can. Even though he has read the offer, B has read the offer. Now in the mind he is thinking, okay, I'll accept the offer. But still he has not posted the letter. Can he withdraw? Yes, A can withdraw the offer any time before posting of letter. Clear? Okay. That's why the dates are very important. That's why this when complete is important to understand. Clear? Okay. Now, as from the point of view of acceptor can withdraw his consent before it comes to the knowledge of offerer. If acceptor wants to withdraw his acceptance, he can withdraw at any point of time before it reaches the offerer. Before it reaches A, he can withdraw his acceptance. Clear? Okay. So this is about communication of offer and acceptance. Let's quickly go through this. See, as defined in section 4, it always happens. Why? Communication of, see, section 4 defines communication of offer is complete when it comes to the knowledge of person to whom it is made. It should come to the knowledge. Mere receiving the letter is not enough. Okay. See, mere receiving the letter is not sufficient. It is important to also just one second. Yeah. Mere receiving the letter is not sufficient. He must receive or read the message. That's very important. ಬರೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ಮುಟ್ಟು ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಓದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಫರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್. ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ acceptance. So let me discuss. See, here we have one more point. I'll tell the modes of acceptance later. But now come to one more topic what I said. See, communication of acceptance is complete as against proposer. As against proposer, again in terms of section 4, the act is complete as against offerer as soon as the letter is posted. So when it is put in the course of transmission, so as to be out of the power to withdraw. Next, as against acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of proposer. Okay, that's what we have studied. The golden, what is the golden rule? The proposer, that is A, becomes bound by the contract as soon as the acceptor B has posted the letter. Okay, it is necessary, but that letter should be correctly addressed, adequately stamped and duly posted. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್, ಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ it must be correctly posted. Suppose if the letter is posted but due to delay in delivery or late in transit or due to negligence of the transporter, they lost the letter, is now the acceptance complete or not? Yes, it is. But acceptor ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರಬೇಕು? He must have correctly stamped, duly posted and adequately addressed. Correctly addressed, adequately stamped and duly posted. Idu 3 things idre, even if the letter is lost, A is bound to give the house at 5 lakhs. Clear? Okay, even though the letter is not received. That's the rule. Now, let us go to the next topic, acceptance. Now, acceptance is there, but in what modes he can give his acceptance? Modes of acceptance. Okay, modes. He has to reply. Now, in what modes he can reply? First, acceptance by act. Second, acceptance by omission to do something. Third, acceptance by conduct. These are the three things. Okay. Now, what is meant by act? Using of words. Words. It can be oral, written, or any means. Using of words. You either write a letter, speak on the phone, write a message, telegram, WhatsApp, Instagram, all okay. Okay. So, acceptance can be given by using of words, that is by oral, written, or any means, or by even making signs, okay, not okay. The signs are also included in the act. Okay, making of signs. Now, what is meant by omission to do something? The next mode is omission. Omission means I have asked not to do this. Okay, please do not talk in the class. I will pay you 500 rupees. Okay, now when I say like this, what will you do? Oh, ma'am is giving us 500 rupees. We should not talk. Correct? That was the offer I made. Now you will not speak in the class. Correct? Now, if you don't speak, I have to pay you 500. So, not to do, you are not doing something. That is only your acceptance. So, that's called omission to do something. Clear? I'm not actually paying you 500. Okay? Just example. Now, what is meant by conduct? Omission means you're omitting to do something. By conduct is now you're not using any words or not using any signs. But what are you doing? Suppose there is my regular grocer store. So what I will do, I will just text him a WhatsApp message. I want a list of this products. He did not reply to me anything on the WhatsApp. He directly sent all those goods to my house step. Okay. So to the house store. Now, he has accepted my offer by just his conduct. Understood? That's called acceptance by conduct. Okay. So I asked for all these things. He did not reply to me or he did not give us any signs, but he delivered all those products to my house. That's called he has given the acceptance by conduct. So these are the three modes of acceptance: by act, by omission, and by conduct. Are you clear? So there were two topics. First, communication of offer according to section 4 when complete. Communication of acceptance when complete. Now we have seen the modes of acceptance. Clear? Next thing we have is communication of special conditions. Okay, we had one case law above, a mere assent in unilateral's mind. That's called communication. Suppose if B thinks that I will buy the house in his own mind, but he does not post the letter, is the acceptance said to be complete? No. It is very important that it comes to the knowledge of the offer. Okay, that's what is said in Central Bank versus Yotmal. Let me check the case law for once. It's not there here. Yes, it is. See, yes, this is the case law we have, Central Bank Yotmal versus Venkatesh. So, mere mental unilateral assent in one's own mind would not amount to communication. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Okay, that's what is said in this case law. Next, we are moving to the next topic, that is communication of special conditions. So, in communication of special conditions, what is happening? We have again a case law, Mukul Datta versus Indian Airlines, and we have one more case law, Lily White versus Manuswamy. Two case laws we have here. Okay, communication of special conditions. You can write down in your book communication of special conditions, and there are two case laws, Mukul Datta versus Indian Airlines and Lily White versus R. Manuswamy. Quickly write down. Okay. Now, suppose, let us directly go with the example. You are traveling by train. How are you traveling? By train. You get what? Ticket for the train, or you go for free without tickets? Yes, ma'am, we go without tickets also. But usually people get tickets to travel, correct? Now you get a ticket. Now, do you read what is printed in the ticket very carefully? Everything backside, front we will see, because we want to know what is our train number, what time does it leave, from where to where, what is our seat number. That all we will see. Do you also read, turn back the ticket, do you also read the terms and conditions, what is given in the tickets? No, no, you don't. Generally, nobody reads. Okay. Now, if you don't read it, what is written at the backside of the ticket? Usually, what is written? Terms and conditions. Correct? Now, only because you have not read it, only because you have not read it, does it mean these terms and conditions don't apply to you? Or you are bound to follow all the terms and conditions? Tell me. Are you bound to follow the terms and conditions, or you are not bound by the terms and conditions because you are not read it? Tell me, are you bound by the terms and conditions? Bound or not bound? If you purchase a train ticket, are you bound by the terms and conditions of those printed on the backside of the ticket or not? That's my question. Definitely, for sure, you are bound, even though you read it or not. Once you buy the ticket, you are bound by the terms. You are accepting the ticket means you are also accepting the terms and conditions with it. Okay, these are called communication of special conditions. These conditions are tacitly conveyed to you. Tacitly means silently conveyed to you. Okay, but on the face of the ticket, there will be some mark or something telling that there are some terms and conditions at the back. There will be some asterisk mark or something which tells you to flip the ticket and look the terms and conditions, read the terms and conditions. Only because you are not reading, that does not mean you are not bound by the terms and conditions. You will be bound by those special conditions. Clear? Okay, this is called communication of special conditions, but on the face of the ticket it should tell that there are some special conditions related with this particular item. Clear? Now, even though we don't read, that is tacitly conveyed. That is said in the case law, Mukul Datta versus Indian Airlines. He bought an air ticket, not train ticket. He bought an air ticket. So whatever the terms and conditions were that there on the back of the ticket were said to have been accepted by him. Okay, and he is bound by those terms and conditions. But there is one thing, that those terms and conditions, because nobody, generally in the society, nobody reads it. We know that when we enter into some websites and when we log into some websites, they ask for, they give some terms and conditions. Then there is two tick box marks. That is, I agree. Correct? What we do? Do we read all those terms and conditions? No, it's just simply like a tick mark. Correct? I agree, and we proceed. So same way, generally nobody reads it. So to protect us, so that people don't take advantage of the people, the government has protected us, the law persons have protected us by telling that those conditions must be reasonable. They cannot include any unreasonable conditions in that particular thing. Clear? So what is the conditions? First thing is, in the communication of special conditions, the conditions, you are bound by those terms and conditions. Those terms and conditions, even though read or not read by you, you are bound to that terms and conditions. Only the thing is, the conditions must be reasonable. You cannot include any unreasonable thing in that. That's what is said. Now let us have a very good example. Even though sometimes, see, the special conditions are printed at the back of air ticket in small letters, even in the train tickets, sometimes the conditions are even displayed on the notice board. So passengers may read or may not read, but still the communications of that has said to be accepted. Now next we have is case law Lily White versus Manuswamy. So in this case law, what has happened is, See, case law Lily White versus Manuswamy. So, in this particular case law, P delivered some clothes to the dry cleaner. She received a laundry receipt. You give some clothes to the dry cleaner, they will give you the receipt, correct? Now, on that receipt also there was conditions on the back side that in case of loss, the customer would be entitled only to the 15% of the market price of value of the article. Okay, what is the condition written on the back side of the receipt? They said that whatever, if product lost, we will give you only 15% of the value. Okay, that was written. Now, P lost her new sari. Her new sari got lost by the launderer. Now, according to that printed conditions, now she is going and fighting with the launderer, telling that I want my full money, I want my full amount. You give me sari or give me the full amount. Will you fight or not? Yes. So now she is also doing the same. Will she get the full amount or she will get only 15% of the amount? That's the question. See, according to what we have read, it will be 15%. But no, there was one more thing what we have read. What we have read? We are bound by those conditions, correct? But one more thing was there, no, those conditions must be reasonable, correct? See, here the terms were considered unreasonable. And hence P could recover full value of the sari from the dry cleaner. Clear? So what is important? Those special conditions must be reasonable. If they are unreasonable, then those conditions, we are not bound by these conditions. Okay? As said in which case law? Lily White versus Manuswamy 1970. Clear? So you can mention whenever you get this. Now, standard form of contracts, on the face it should give reasonable notice of special conditions. So on the face there should be something so that we can flip it over. If nothing is mentioned, how do I come to know that I should flip it over? Correct? So it is very, very important to, on the face there should be some special conditions. It should inform that there are some special conditions with regard to this. Now we have case law Raipur Transport Company versus Ghanshyam. See, what has happened is there is a converse situation now. A transport carrier accepted the goods for transport without any conditions. He accepted the goods. I gave some goods for you to deliver from here to here. Okay, you just accepted the goods without any conditions. But subsequently, afterwards, after you have accepted the goods, a circular from the owner of the goods. He issued a circular to the owners of the goods limiting his liability for the goods. Now, after he has accepted, now he is telling, what he is telling? My liability for the goods is limited. If lost, then I am not responsible. That is what he is trying to tell. When accepting, he did not mention anything. After accepting the goods, then later on, he sent a message to us telling that my liability for the goods is limited. That is what is he trying to tell? I will not be responsible if goods are lost in transit. Did he tell while accepting? No. After accepting, he is telling. So, if the goods are lost, will I be able to recover my full money or not? Yes, because in such a case, special conditions, his conditions were there. There were some special conditions, but he did not communicate prior to the contract. So that is why it was not binding on the owner of goods. Clear? So if there are some special conditions that must be communicated before making of contract or on the face, there must be something so as to understand that there are some special conditions. Are you clear with both the topics? Clear? Okay. Now moving on to our next topic, that is communication of performance. Write down this Raipur Transport versus Ghanshyam. The special conditions must be communicated before making of contract. Now, usually what should happen, it is important that suppose in the offer we are asking to do something, okay? It is necessary that when you do it, suppose I am wanting to, whatever it is, suppose whatever the kind of offer is, we have asked you to do something in the offer. You have performed your part of the offer. It is not only sufficient if you perform it. It is very important for you to communicate also. I asked you to do something, you did something. But just keeping quiet, no, you should also communicate, ma'am, I have did what you have asked me to do. That is, your performance must also be communicated to the offerer. Clear? That is general thing. What is the general thing? Mere performing is not sufficient. It is very important to also communicate about the performance. That what is asked, we have done it. Okay, that's the thing. But in some cases, mere performance is sufficient. Performance need not be communicated in all the cases. Okay, as happened in the case law, Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke balls. Recall what has happened in that case law. Go back. What happened in that particular case law? Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke balls. Yes, it is related with what? Very good. It is related with general offer. So, what we are telling, firstly, we are telling that communication of performance is also important. Mere performing is not enough. But in some cases, just performing is enough. Performance need not be communicated. Like in the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke balls. What has happened? There are some printed directions that smoke balls have to be consumed in this manner. Some directions you have to follow, like take it with hot water or before food, after food, whatever it is. Some printed conditions are there on that particular smoke balls. Correct? So Mrs. Carlyle did the same thing. So, according to the directions of the offer, if she consumes the smoke balls, that is, she did her performance, part of performance. Now, after consuming the carbolic smoke balls, is it necessary for her to call the company and tell that I have consumed your smoke balls? Now, I am waiting whether I will contract the influenza or not. No, it is not necessary for her to communicate her performance to the company. Clear? Okay, so communication of performance is not required in all the cases as it is explained in this particular thing. Okay, so here, as if the offer specifically mentions that they have to communicate their acceptance, communicate their performance, only then. Otherwise, it is not necessary for them to communicate the performance. Clear? Okay, as happened in Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke balls, mere consumption amounted to the performance and the acceptance of the performance. Clear? Are you clear? Okay. So, further, see what happened here. Let us tell this. Advertisement did not require any communication of compliance of condition. It was not necessary to communicate the same. So this is the important point, because when they made the advertisement, like anybody contracts influenza will pay you reward with $100 or £100, correct? So here they did not require that you should also communicate your performance. So as it was not required by the advertisement, they need not communicate. Otherwise, communication is required. Clear? Okay. Now, next topic is revocation of offer and acceptance. Now, again, very important. Revocation means what? You can write down in your glossary section. Revocation means cancelling. Cancelling the. So, revocation of what? Offer and acceptance. When can you revoke or cancel the offer? When can you cancel your acceptance? That's the thing. Okay, now we have seen in section 4 when is the offer complete and when is the acceptance complete. Now let us understand when is the communication of revocation complete. So same thing again, same as per section 4, communication of revocation. I am cancelling the offer, I am cancelling the acceptance. Now I have to tell, right, I am cancelling. First I made the offer, then I am cancelling it. Offer is complete when it reaches to the knowledge of person to whom it is made, correct? Now when revocation is complete, revocation of offer is complete As against person who makes it, when it is put into course of transmission to the person to whom it is made, or to be out of the power of person who makes it, as against the person to whom it is made when it comes to his knowledge. Suppose, let us take the same example and understand on what date revocations are complete. See, here it is. If you revoke your proposal made to be by telegram, I made a telegram to you. Now, revocation will be complete as far as you are concerned when you have dispatched the telegram. See, very, very important. As soon as you dispatch, it is complete. As far as I am concerned, when I will receive the telegram. When I will receive, only then it will set to be complete for you. As soon as you post it, your revocation is set to be complete. Simple. Revocation is complete as against the person who makes it as soon as he posts the letter. If I am cancelling the offer, okay, as soon as I post the letter, it is complete. Against the person whom I am cancelling, when it reaches to him. Clear? Okay. Now, this is about offer. Now, next is revocation of acceptance. Revocation of acceptance, if you go by the example, I can revoke my acceptance by a telegram. The revocation by me will be complete when I dispatch the letter, and it will be complete when it reaches you. It's the same thing. Communication of revocation of acceptance is complete when, for me, when I post the letter, for you, when it reaches you. Okay. Now, an important question. Can a proposal be cancelled? I gave you the offer. Can I cancel the offer? Yes, I have already discussed this point. A can cancel his offer anytime before B posts his letter. So same thing, see, an offerer can revoke before it is accepted. Before it is accepted, you can revoke at any point of time. But after acceptance, no, you cannot. You are bound to perform it. Okay. See, now an offer can be revoked by the offerer before its acceptance. Suppose an example. Come to the example number 63. Have a look at the example number 63. See, X offered to sell 50 bales of cotton at a certain price. I promise that I will sell you 50 bales of cotton and I will wait for acceptance till 6 o'clock in the evening. What did I say? I want to sell 50 bales of cotton to you and I promised that I will keep that offer open to you till 6 p.m. in the evening. But before 6 p.m. I got a very good offer. But before 6 p.m. I got a very good offer from Z. He agreed. So before that time, I sold it to Z. Because I got very good offer. What I did, I sold them. I said, I promised why I will keep it open for you till 6 p.m. in the evening. Even after making the promise, I sold it to Z. Now tell me what to do. Can. Why? Why also, what did Y do? Before 6 p.m. only, suppose I sold to Z at 4 o'clock. I promised that I will wait till 5, but I did not wait. I sold the cotton to another person at 4 p.m. Now, Y came? Before 6 only he came. Suppose he came at 5 o'clock. Give me my 50 bills of cotton. I'm ready to purchase. Now tell me what to do. Can he ask for the goods from X? Kodle X only goods. Yes, generally we will say yes, but no. Because there was an open offer, correct? But was there a contract? No. Why? Contract is complete only when there is acceptance. He gave acceptance at what time? He gave acceptance at 5. Okay? But X revoked his offer, cancelled his offer before his acceptance. Correct? X cancelled his offer before he accepted it. That is at 4 only. He came at 5, he gave the acceptance at 5. But before the acceptance was complete, he revoked the offer. So that is why it is said that an offer may be revoked before its acceptance, even though originally he promised that he will keep it open for a definite period of time. Correct? So as long as it is an offer, it can be withdrawn at any point of time as the offerer desires. Okay, he will not be bound by the contract because it was just an offer. It was not an contract. So hence he can withdraw his offer before acceptance. Please remember, offer can be withdrawn at any point of time before acceptance. Okay, that is said in what section? Section 5. Section 5 says that an act of proposal can be revoked at any time before acceptance is complete as against proposer. Proposer when put to the letter. Letter is posted. So before he posts the letter, you can withdraw. And for acceptance may be revoked at any time before it is complete as against acceptor. There is two things: revoking of offer, revoking of acceptance. So in the same example, what we have seen, A can cancel his. What were the dates we had? See here. Correct. Here. A can cancel. A can cancel at any time. His offer can be withdrawn any time before he posts this letter. He posts on 26th, so he can withdraw at any point of time before posting the letter. Now suppose B has given the acceptance. The acceptance can be cancelled by B, revoked by B at any time before the letter reaches A. Suppose ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೌಸ್ ಈಗ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಮನ್ಸಿಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಿ ವಿಡ್ರಾ? ಅವ್ನು ಲೆಟರ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಈಗ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಿ ವಿಡ್ರಾ ದ ಲೆಟರ್? ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಹೌಸ್ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಎಸ್, ಹಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಲೆಟರ್ ರೀಚಸ್ ಎ. ಈವನ್ ದೋ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅವನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಓದಿಲ್ಲ, he has not read it, it has not come to his knowledge, till that time he can revoke. Okay, immediately make a phone call and tell him, I'm cancelling the acceptance before he reads it. Okay, clear? That's about communication of offer and acceptance. Next, modes of revocation. In the modes of revocation, what are the modes? Modes means in what ways you can revoke. Okay, first by giving notice. Very simple. I just call and I tell you, by informing over telephone, or by writing and telling you, or by face to face I'm telling you I want to cancel the offer. Very simple, by giving notice. First thing, the offer can be cancelled. Second one, by lapse of time. I said I will keep this offer for 1 week. If till 1 week you don't give the acceptance, after 1 week, is the offer still open? No, the offer will lapse. Okay, the offer gets automatically cancelled after 1 week by lapse of time. Second, by non-fulfillment of condition precedent. Precedent means an offer will be open to you only if you fulfill this condition. If you don't fulfill this condition, then the offer is not for you. Okay, so the offer to be there for you, you should first fulfill these conditions. Clear? If you don't fulfill, then there is no offer. See what has happened here. A proposed to sell his house to B for 5 lakhs provided. Condition nodi. ಇವನು ಮನೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. He is ready to give the house for 5 lakhs, but there is one condition, precedent condition. What is it? If B leases his land to A, ನಂಗೆ ಲೀಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಸೆಲ್ ದ ಹೌಸ್. Now suppose he does not lease the house, lease the land, then offer is revoked. ಅವ್ನು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the offer automatically ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Are you clear? The next is by death or insanity. By death, ಯಾರು ಆಫರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, if they die, then it is automatically cancelled. By counter offer, we have already studied this in our first class itself. Whenever there is a counter offer, the original offer lapses. By non-acceptance of offer according to the prescribed or usual mode. What mode we have asked? If you don't accept according to that mode, then it is automatically cancelled by subsequent illegality. First it was legal, but due to change in the circumstances or due to change in the law, what has happened, that legal thing became illegal. Then that offer will automatically lapse. Are you clear? Okay, this is our unit 1 of Indian Contract Act 1872. So we will continue with the unit 2 in the next class. We'll keep this class till here. Okay, be ready for some questions in the next class. Be prepared. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you later.